Workshop 2. Workshop 2.
Good morning. Welcome to this launch event with the name Empower the Global Internet Standards Testing Community. My name is Wouter Nates van der Borgt and I'm the Community Manager International of Internet.nl, a testing tool that my colleague Wouter Kobus will tell you more about in a minute. Why an international community? After its launch in 2013, the community behind Internet.nl made the decision that the software behind it would be open source and available for anyone to use. Also, a testing environment was created that more and more people started to use. Some organizations decided to use the existing toolkit, other organizations built their own, but more or less with the same goal, testing how secure their and their country's internet environments are. Contact remained between organizations one-on-one between the interested parties and Internet.nl itself. There was no broader interaction. And the people behind Internet.nl aspired to change this. After a few months in preparations, in March this year, representatives from different countries and organizations met for the first time. They decided that there's merit in creating a cooperative body in which they can work together, share experiences and agree on and/or develop next steps. The next meeting is scheduled somewhere in October and will be defined for prioritizing in the first year. As the global internet standards testing community is open to all, with an interest to start working with this tool, we decided to do an official launch here at the Internet Governance Forum. As an internet standards deployment and the spreading of the knowledge why this is crucially important for a more secure and safer environment, it is governance. By working together, it becomes easier to raise awareness around and raise the deployment of security-related internet standards, and by creating a community, the profile of the work and its outcomes is raised considerably. Additionally, all involved can learn from each other's experiences, from their outcomes and how they can be used, from challenges and how they were overcome, from the arguments used to convince superiors, to partnerships making cooperation possible, etc., etc. And this may go for more experienced organizations as much as those with the first interest. Other forms of added value may lay in more enhanced cooperation in the future and perhaps coordination on future steps. Formulation of common ambitions or outreach programs all adhere to, and perhaps even the creation of a more formal organization. But why should I join, or you join this community, you might ask? For starters, because the active use of this tool provides you and your organization the insight how secure or insecure organizations in your country are, and allows you for knowledge and insightful responses and policy making. But let me, as an introduction, stop here and introduce the people around me. I'm here with Wouter Kobus of Internet.nl. I'm with Elena Murawska of RIPE NCC. Online are Gilberto Zorelli of NIC.PR and Daishi Kondo of the University of Tokyo. Also with me is Annemieke Toersen of the platform Internet Standards in the Netherlands and Dorijn Bogaert, who is our online moderator. So first I'm going to ask Wouter to explain to you what Internet.nl is and what it does. So Wouter, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Wout. And let me go to the next slide. Yeah, so I will shortly explain to you the Internet.nl testing tool and what you can... Is my sound working?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it is?
Yes.
I think it's your problem. So you can, I will shortly explain to you where internet.nl can be used for and how it works. So basically, it is a testing tool in which you can easily test either your website or email domain name. Showing right now is the results of the IGF 2025 website, which, as you can see in our vision, there are still some improvements available. And basically, this reporting does not only tell you what is good and what is wrong, but also gives you concrete steps how to improve them. And luckily, if you look to other parts of the Norwegian government, you will see that they perform better. So, for instance, this is the Norwegian Digital Gateway that actually has only very minor improvements still recommended by us. So this is the individual testing in which, well, basically everyone can test their own domain names right now if you go to internet.nl. However, for organizations, it's mostly required to scan a lot of domain names and on a regular basis. For this, we have also a dashboard available. This allows for creation of reports, scheduled scanning, trend monitoring over time. And basically, in total, we have seen that just for the Dutch version of this code base, we see over 5 million scans annually, both on the individual test and the dashboard testing happening right now. As was mentioned by Wout, this source code is open source available and has throughout the years already been picked up by other countries. So these are a few examples of the use of internet.nl around the world, in Brazil, Denmark, and we see new instances starting in Germany, France, etc. And also the project is used in various measuring projects in Portugal, European Commission, in which they do not present the website themselves, but they use it to generate reports for their research. And over the years, many of these international people have, well, worked with internet.nl, but also gave us feedback and helped us improve the product more and more, which is, of course, also why we're trying to create this community to make this code base even more widely known, but also also get something back from the community to make the product even better. So that's in real short the introduction on internet now.
Thank you very much, Walter. And as you could see that if you go to internet.nl, you can type in the name of your own organization and immediately see how secure or insecure your organization is. But also you get the advice on the steps that you could take to make yourself more secure. So it's something you can do here or later at home and show to the people responsible for ICT what they can do. Let me go to the next speaker, and Alena Moravska is going to tell you about how important internet standards are and why we are having this discussion and why RIPE NCC supports the internet.nl initiatives already for quite some years. Alena, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Wout. Good morning, colleagues here in the room, but also colleagues online. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be a part of this important launching event. It's an important milestone for the global technical internet standard testing community. So I'm Alena Moravska and I represent the RIPE NCC here. We are a regional internet registry, and in this function we are responsible for the allocation and registration of IP address and autonomous system numbers. Why I am mentioning this? So we have two core principles of the internet, and the registration is one of them. And the registration ensures that the resources are globally unique and traceable. That makes the internet global, actually. But the second principle of the internet is actually the protocol standardization. It's a development and the adoption of open standards that define how devices communicate over the internet. So, and together, registration and standardization have enabled the internet to function as a global and permissionless platform for innovation. Internet standards are agreed upon technical specifications that underpin the infrastructure of the internet. Many of you in the room are familiar with all of this, so bear with me. Actually, my explanation is more more referred to the people who are less technical in the room. So the Internet open standards are the building blocks that enable interoperability, comparability, and consistency across the thousands of networks. Open standards also enable Internet's scalability, security, and resilience. At the same time, they support the innovation and growth because they allow people and organizations to create new services that make them available worldwide without needing permission. So open Internet standards are publicly available and deployed through the process that are transparent and open to broad participation. And organizations as Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, many of you are very familiar with it, plays a central role in this process. Other policymakers are placing a growing emphasis on Internet standards, and they recognize their critical importance for the economic development and national security in this changing world. While the governments play a key role in promoting and supporting these standards, their efforts must complement, not replace, the open and collaborative process that have ensured that the Internet remains innovative and accessible for the past few decades. So we have seen various approaches when it comes to implementation of Internet standards, because implementation is also a key to success. So successful examples include governments that have developed, for example, national IPv6 roadmaps in close cooperation with technical community, ensuring that these roadmaps are grounded in the technical reality in their countries. On the other hand, more politically driven roadmaps without sufficient input from technical experts often failed to meet the expectations. So I would like to mention a good example of successful governmental approach to RPKI. It's a policy implemented by the Dutch Standardization Forum. They developed apply or explain approach that made RPKI mandatory for governmental entities and public institutions. So, and in this case, monitoring RPKI metrics and close collaboration with technical community experts, they are the key factor to success. So we've also seen that EU approach to Internet standards has gradually evolved over the years. And since 2019, so already 6 years ago, the European Commission has launched a series of initiatives to strengthen the role of the European Union in standardization processes and promote its vision for the Internet. And NIS 2, as we all know, puts the deployment of key Internet standards in the spotlight even more. So the NIS 2 implementing regulation adopted in 2024 requires operators to take appropriate technical and organizational measures, including the adoption of transition plans to modern network protocols. So think about IPv6 here, best practices for Internet routing security, such as RPKI, and measures for DNS and email security. So these requirements are framed in technology-neutral and flexible manner, yet they reflect the growing governmental interest in driving the deployment of the standards. So the last activity that we've seen in this area is the European Commission's established multi-stakeholder forum on the deployment of Internet standards, supported by ENISA and national authorities. So this forum aims to identify the best practices and standards and deployment techniques in 4 areas which I already mentioned. So that's network layer protocols, email security, DNS security, and routing security. So this initiative is welcome as long as leadership and decision-making stay anchored in the technical community. And why all this story? Because we believe that the testing community could play a key role in monitoring and deployment of adoption of these standards. Because Wouter already mentioned that testing ensures that standards are not only implemented, but also correctly and consistently deployed. So it helps prevent fragmentation, enforces interoperability, and raises the overall quality of the Internet infrastructure. So tools like Internet.nl are excellent examples in this process. So they help public and private institutions access their compliance this established internet standard. So Wout already mentioned that as well. And on organizational level, testing contributes to more efficient processes and helps integrate security improvements into daily workflows. So on a broader scale, also testing fosters cooperation and collaborative learning, and it creates mechanisms for implementing standards and aligning the efforts of public administrators, service providers, and the technical community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alena. I think that you showed from the technical community side how important it is to start deploying these standards, and also that it's going to become more or less mandatory within the European Union within a year or two. The next speaker that is coming from Brazil is online, Gilberto Zorello. Please answer the question, how can you join and benefit from the global internet standard testing community, as it's now provisionally called? So what are your experiences in the past with running Internet.nl in the Brazilian way?
Hi, good morning. We have a very good experience with Internet now here in Brazil. I bring a short presentation about our experience. I would like to thank the Internet.nl for the opportunity to participate in this event. This presentation is about our experience of Internet.nl in Brazil. This is our agenda. I'm Gilberto Zorello, project manager from Brazilian Network Information Center, NIC.br, that implements the decisions and projects designed by Brazilian Internet Steering Committee, CGI.br, which is responsible for the coordination and integration of all Internet service initiatives in the country. Flavio Anais is here with me too. Here is this systems development manager at NIC.br. This presentation is about our experience with Internet.nl. We call the tool here in Brazil as TOP. In English is test the standards. TOP is part of a bigger program that we have, the Safer Internet program, which aims to help Internet operators and service providers to reduce security incidents caused by vulnerabilities and configuration errors. We are interested in Internet.nl. It's very important because its recommendations are fully aligned with our objectives of the Safer Internet program. TOP has a web interface in Portuguese, very important in Brazil because people here don't speak in English. That we need a web interface in Portuguese. Its operation started in December 21st. We are currently running the version 1.7 and testing 1.9, and we intend to release the dashboard too. The project is an initiative funded by NIC.br. The tool is disseminated in different cities across the country through lectures at the NIC.br technical events and ISP association fairs. NIC.br offers technical training on specific topics recommended. For instance, configuration of recursive and authoritative DNS service, RPKI, and IPv6. The Safer Internet program holds meetings with Internet service providers to provide guidance on how to implement the best security practice in the networks and how to use the TOP testing tool. We have new activities planned to promote the dissemination of good operational practice. NIC.br created the pickup best operation practice NIC.BR award, which rewards institutions that implement continuous improvement in their networks. This year, the annual competition. This year's competition, companies that configure their websites following top recommendations will be awarded.
Gilberto, sorry, I can give you 30 seconds.
Okay, finishing. The second activity, the Regional Center for Studies on Development of Information Society, CETIC.BR, monitors the adoption of information and communication technologies, ICTs, in Brazil. The CETIC.BR conducts ICT enterprise survey that measures the adoption of ICT small, medium, and large enterprises. The survey is conducted every 2 years. Next survey will check the readiness to meet the best security practices for websites of these companies using top. Okay, that's my presentation. I'm ready for questions if you need.
Thank you very much, Gilberto. And it shows that it really works in Brazil. So thank you for showing us that to us. We're going to move to totally other side of the world. We're going to Japan. And we have Daishi Kondo with us, who is now with the University of Tokyo. And he is going to answer the following question. Daishi, what is your experience with the email security research so far, and how do you expect to benefit from international cooperation in the Internet.nl international community?
Okay. Hello. Good morning, I should say. I'm Daishi Kondo from the University of Tokyo. And one of my research interests is email security. And these days, actually 2 weeks ago, I presented the email security work in Denmark in the conference, which is called TMA. And we saw the several statistics about the email security implementations. And from my experience in my email security research, I have realized that the adoption of the email security measures is greatly influenced by the policy frameworks and the security culture. For example, the Netherlands has initiatives such as Comply or Explain List and Internet.nl, which have contributed to a high adoption rate of email security measures. On the other hand, Japan lacks similar policy mechanisms or counterpart to Internet.nl. In order to promote the better adoption, it is essential to bridge these policy and cultural gaps. I believe that the first step in international cooperation is to understand the nature of these differences through a collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daishi. What it shows is that we already have a lot of people from around the world joining the community, and that we're going to ask more people to join. But first I'm going to ask Dorijn if there's any comments made online that you would like to read out.
Yes, thank you. We have one comment online from Santosh Pandit. In case you were taking questions, he asked, will the community support the journey towards post-quantum cryptography and its use at Internet.nl?
That is a very good question. What I can say is that we're going to have a report, but that's by the Internet Standards Security Coalition of the IGF. That will present it on Friday morning at 9 o'clock in room 1. Where this community is concerned, I can imagine, but I'm looking at Wouter, that this is an issue that will come up in the near future as one of the potential testing points. But is it being considered already, or is it something that is future, Wouter?
Yeah, most definitely that will be added to the Internet.nl testing suite in due time. And of course, once that's relevant, you want to be sure that the ciphers used by your web and email server are indeed quantum proof. But that's something to be added in the future.
I can imagine that it will, but what the time is, that is harder to set at this moment, because we need the standards to be in place and accepted in a broad way. I've got time for one question before we go to the official launch. Is there a question in the room Then we have a microphone that will go around. So please put up your hand and we can have one question. Yes, the gentleman there. Does this microphone work? And please introduce yourself first.
Well, thank you. This is. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear myself. Yeah. But, anyways, this is weird. So I just wanted to know.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Nico Caballero. I'm the GAC Chair, Governmental Advisory Committee within ICANN, and I wanted to know if there's any way to cooperate with governments, with at least certain governments who are very interested in implementing not only DNSSEC but also, symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. Sorry, too early in the morning. Need more coffee. But and some other standards. My question is, would there be any kind of, let's say, task force or group or somebody we can contact? I mean, specific governments who might be interested in implementing the standards and some way forward.
I'll take it first, and then I give it to Walter. I think that the idea behind the community that we are launching in the moment is that everybody with an interest in. I will start again because you didn't have your phone. The idea behind the community is that all organizations with an interest in testing the situation on standards in their country can participate. So that could be from a governmental angle, it could be from a research angle, academia, it could be from a technical community who also advise its members. So all different sort of parties can join and have already joined. So if you would like to promote this in the GAC, then we would be more than welcome to do so. There is a set of standards at this moment that is in the program, but the idea is to develop the program further in the future. And that is something that we hope to also be able to coordinate on between all the different parties so we can set the next steps together. So that's the idea behind starting this international community. So let's talk a little bit after the session and we can see how we can promote this further. And would you like to add, Walter?
No, I fully agree. And I think the added value of the tool is not to show what standards are implemented and what not, but also to give you the means to implement these standards that are not yet supported. So that is the goal of the program. And I think, we should get in touch.
So thank you very much for that question. And we only have half an hour, so I'm already seeing people waving there that we should stop in time. But I want to thank you very much for coming and showing your interest in the launch of this international community. You heard what Internet.nl is, what it does, and why deployment of Internet standards is crucial. And you have heard the experience of the people already working with the tool from the Netherlands, but also in Brazil and in Japan. We could have stayed some others, but we have only 30 minutes. Now it's time to officially launch the international community in which we are going to cooperate to make everyone understand why not deploying the new generation security-related internet standards and ICT best practices for that matter should no longer be an option for anyone manufacturing devices or offering digital services, etc. Just like it should no longer be an option to not procure ICTs secure by design as an organization. I can't think of a bigger driver towards deployment than economic buying power, personally. You can have a legislation, but if your customer doesn't want you anymore because you're not delivering, then you're out of business. To get there, all concerned need to become more aware of the current situation and feel the pressure shown by this testing tool. How can you join our community? In a moment, Walter will show you a QR code and you can sign up on a form and you will receive information for the future meeting, probably in October. I'd say, Walter, let's launch the Global Internet Standards Testing Community, the GISTC, but not before I welcome you to a bilateral meeting that we have that you can ask questions if you like. It's on Thursday morning, 10:30. In the Buskerud room in the hotel. So if you'd like to have questions, answers, please come to that meeting and we will be there of answering your questions. So thank you for joining. Wouter, please launch our...
Yeah, I'm not seeing the slides anymore, but we have some cake to celebrate this launch.
Right. Oh, here's the slides, so let's go.
So we're launching.
We're launched. So thank you very much for joining. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you, presenters, Wouter, Alena, Gilberto, Daishi. Thank you, Dorijn, for the online moderation. Peter for reporting, he's in the Netherlands, and for the scribes and the technical people for really perfect the preparation that we've had with you. So thank you very much, and I hope to meet you in the community room on Thursday. Thank you.